everyone, so today I'm going to make some bread. Now, obviously you can buy all kinds of bread from the shop, that's fine, and obviously on the photo at the front I put whatever flour I'm using. You can buy specific bread flour, but I really wouldn't worry if it's too expensive or you can't find it or whatever, so just any flour really will do. I don't really measure anymore just because I've been making bread for a long time, but if you want measurements, I think it's about 750 grams for a normal size loaf. So I'll normally put kind of half wholemeal, half white flour just to mix it up a bit, or different types of wholemeal, whatever flour really that I've got lying around that needs to be used up. So I'm just putting all that into the bowl. And today I'm going to make bread that has got some olives, some chopped olives, some bits of halloumi in it, and some tomatoes. So, but you can really put all different kinds of things in bread, it doesn't really matter, and that's the beauty of making your own bread. I'm just using some dried yeast, so it's probably about, 85p for 8 sachets. So you just need 1 sachet per loaf. So you put your flour in, put your yeast in, and then just give that a mix before you do anything else, just so you've got your dry ingredients mixed together. I'm making this in the morning before work, and obviously I don't have small children, which obviously now allows me to do this. But when my son was little, we still made bread. I just didn't do it first thing in the morning, and we did it together. So he helped me put all the ingredients in, helped me make a mess, and just had fun with it. So just mix your dry ingredients together, and then put in your other ingredients that you want to use. So the other thing I'm going to put in here is I have got an ice cream tub full of blitzed seeds and nuts. So I'm just going to put a couple of spoonfuls of that, just to so the bread has got a bit of added protein in it. So then actually when I feel like I'm having toast in the morning, I've got a bit of protein in it, and it's a bit like seeded bread, but it's all mixed in. So then on here I've just got some halloumi, just chopped into little tiny pieces, a few olives that I had left over, some tomatoes, and a little bit of cheddar as well that I had left over. So I'm just going to chuck all that in, and then give that a mix through. So just cover it with the flour, you can see there, just mix it all in so that it doesn't all get stuck together, so just mix it and separate it up a bit like that. The other thing I've prepared is my water, so it's I wouldn't give specific measurements because it depends how much ingredients you've got in there, but this is like a litre jug, and it's mixed. It has to be warm, so I boil the kettle, put a bit of hot water, and then fill it with cold. So it just should be a bit tepid, and that's just so that the yeast can come alive and work when it's there. There are obviously different kinds of yeast. You can get fresh yeast, you can get all kinds, but if you just want a quick easy one, then the dried yeast is the quickest. So then you just start pouring in the water, and then this is where it gets a bit messy, so it's good to make sure that you don't need to get anything else, and it's also good to just make sure you've got a bit of spare flour, just in case you accidentally put in too much water. Then you can just counteract that with a bit of more flour to dry it out a bit. So just go ahead and put all the water in, or as much water as you need. Mix it in a little bit, don't flood it first. So as you can see, it's kind of a gooey mix now, just to mix in the dry, because you might not actually need as much water as you think, so definitely don't put it all in at once. And just give it a good mix like that, and just keep going until you're happy with the consistency, and mix the water in as well. We'll just, it's going to get a bit dry, so I'm just going to add a bit more water as well. But when you get towards the end of mixing it, just put a little bit of water in at a time, just to mix it and see how it goes, because it does combine quite nicely and quite quickly, and especially if you've got things like tomatoes and things, that will obviously also add some moisture to it as well. Just for prep time, it probably took me maybe 5 minutes just to chop up or maybe a bit less than that, just to chop up the halloumi and the olives. I've chopped them quite small. Obviously you could do them a bit bigger than that if you wanted. But I try and be as honest as possible in these videos in terms of how much time it's going to take. It is messy, so your hands obviously get a bit dirty, bits will go on the floor, and that's alright, that's part of the fun of it all. If you've got small children, obviously it's good to kind of make sure you've got brain space to let them make a mess. So I'm just going to put a little bit of olive oil on the work surface. It's probably a bit too much, but a little bit of olive oil just to kind of make so that the bread doesn't get stuck. You can also just use a bit of spare flour as well instead if you don't want to use oil. Obviously you don't have to use olive oil, but I just prefer to use olive oil because I find it cleans easier afterwards. So just scrape all your dough out there. Just put your bowl somewhere. You just need a little bit of space then to knead your bread mixture. And I think, obviously this does take time, and it probably is quicker to go to the shop and buy a loaf of bread, but I definitely think homemade bread tastes much nicer. It freezes quite well as well, so you definitely don't need to make it and eat it all together, all at once. Sometimes the other thing I do is make double mixture, put it into 2 separate bowls, and then I'll make one with raisins in as well, so maybe a slightly sweeter one. I used to make them for me and my son, so I'd make one plain one or one with kind of savoury things in it, and then one with raisins in as well. And then when they were cooked, I used to slice them all up and put them in the freezer so that we wouldn't eat them all at once. We obviously did eat some when they were fresh as well. So this is a bit sticky, so I'm just going to put a little bit more flour down. And if you have got quite heavy ingredients, which I have in this, you can sometimes put like 1.5 sachets of yeast or something like that, and it might be that this one doesn't rise quite as nicely, just because it has got some heavy ingredients in it, but I'm optimistic that it'll be fine. And obviously you can't just kind of make it and then put it straight in the oven. You do have to let it rise for a few hours, so that's why I tend to do it first thing in the morning. I don't really like it when all the dough is on my hands for too long, so I try and just get it off as I go along a bit as well. Also then you're not wasting it because you can pop it all back in. So you just need it probably for about 5 or 10 minutes. And then when you're happy with it, all you then have to do is pop it back in the bowl that it came from, so you're not causing too much washing up. So just pop it in like that, and then just cover it up. So I'm just using a chopping board to cover it. You could put something a little bit softer over it, so as it rises it will, it doesn't get stuck. So you just need to keep an eye. This shouldn't rise above the bowl anyway, but you can sometimes do it in a deeper one if you need to as well. So that's it. So I'm going to leave that for a few hours, and then I will do the other video when I come back later on after work and finish cooking it. Hello everyone, so we're back again to roll out our dough. So it's now in the afternoon, but it probably took about 4 hours for this to get to this size. So we're just going to put another bit of olive oil on the surface there, and then just turn it out like that. And now you just want to kind of gently knead it at this point. You don't need to knead it too heavily or too hard. And then you just need to make it into a loaf shape. So I don't need it very long. Now you can use a loaf tin, but I don't use a loaf tin. I just use a normal baking tray. Just put it on some greaseproof paper. You actually don't need greaseproof paper. You can just put it straight in the tray as well if you want. And then you just need to score some small lines across the top. So don't cut it too deeply. I'll show you in a minute. Just to create some little slices, so then it's easier to cut the bread once it's cooked. Sometimes I put sesame seeds on top of the bread, or poppy seeds as well, so you could do that if you wanted, but equally you don't have to. So I'm not going to put it on this one just because it's already got quite a lot of flavour inside as well. But sometimes if I'm just making a plain loaf, then I would put some sesame seeds on. So So that's it. So I've just scored the dough like that, and I'm going to pop it in the oven probably for about 40 minutes to an hour. Just keep an eye on it at about 160 degrees Celsius. And that's it, and then it should be all ready to eat after that. Okay, so here's the bread. I've just taken it out of the oven. It's been in for about probably about 35-40 minutes, I think. So it's all nice and crispy. And sometimes the way to test it to see if it's cooked, so I'm going to put it back in for a little while, is just to turn it over and give it a knock on the bottom. So it should sound a bit hollower than that. So I'll put it back in the oven for a few more minutes so that it can get a bit more cooked. But as you can see, like you can see all the halloumi and the cheese and the tomato and the olives. So it's looking nice. But yeah, I'll just pop it back in for a little while. Although the smell of it does make me want to eat it now, but I won't. Okay, so the bread has had probably about another 15 minutes or so. So you can see it's nice and brown on the bottom. And it's a bit firmer as well, so that's all done. So I will transfer it to a wire rack and then it can cool down, and then later I can have fresh bread and butter. And I hope you enjoy making bread or having fun in the kitchen, whatever you decide to make. Take care, bye!